Hi. The video today is going to be about the vacuum system of the Bitter SC. You might remember that I found a ton of vacuum leaks, and while doing this I thought it might also be a good idea to explain the vacuum system. It's not that difficult, but I remember in '82 when I was 21 and my father got his first Senator, I found this spaghetti bowl of vacuum lines intimidating, but once you know what they are for, it's really not that difficult, and I just thought it might be a good idea to do a video about that. It will be on the example of 377, which is a 3.0, but most of it, and I will explain the differences, also applies to the 3.9. One of the major differences is that the 3.9 does not have the vacuum advance of the distributor hooked up. The 3.0 runs on centrifugal advance and vacuum advance, the 3.9 only on centrifugal advance. If you hook this up to vacuum, the 3.9 might be damaged, and I have seen that, and the engine will be thankful for you not hooking it up. So if you find on your 3.9 that the vacuum advance is not connected, this is how it should be. It is not accidental. This is the engine bay of SC377 in its current condition. And to explain the vacuum system, I'm going to do some modifications, and then it will become much clearer where all these vacuum lines go and how it should be set up. Before I start, there's one thing I wanted to mention. I found the car with the vacuum line to the auxiliary air valve in this support. It does not go there. It actually goes underneath, and what goes into this support is the heater line. This is obviously too long, so I'm going to have to shorten that later on, but this support is for the heater line, not for the vacuum line. As you can see, I have turned SC377 into a bit of a clown car. I have just thought about how I could explain the system best, and to me it seemed best if I just go by colors, so that the different functions are distinguished by different colors. And let's begin with the ignition advance and control valve for the carbon canister. The carbon canister is here underneath. Here would normally be the washer bottle, windshield washer bottle. You have the control valve here. It goes out here and has a T piece here where it goes into the distributor ignition advance. That is only 3.0. The 3.9 has a straight line here, and then it goes across the front of the engine and comes up here into the top port of the intake manifold. The valve opens and closes depending on engine load. At low engine load, meaning idle, high vacuum, the engine will not be able to handle the additional gases. So this only opens at low load, high load, low vacuum, sorry. So closed at high vacuum and low load, open at high load and low vacuum. And then the green line once again follows the yellow line and then goes between thermostat housing and auxiliary air valve to the engine side of the idle controller for the air conditioning system, and then up here and tees into this line. And this is for the gases, basically oil vapors inside the engine. They go here into the intake as well. Everything moves to the intake. The intake is the lowest pressure point in the system. So any line that connects moves things from where they come into the intake. So this was the yellow and the green lines. The blue line is the idle control, and that is, as I explained in the other video, it is after the throttle plate, and it routes air that the airflow sensor has measured and the computer knows about around the throttle plate. So this is in front of the throttle plate. but it routes additional air around the throttle blades through the auxiliary air valve that is open in the beginning, and then as the car warms up it closes, and then this branch here is dead. But if it's open, it routes additional air in front of the throttle blade, around the throttle blade, back here into the intake, which means the engine computer sees more air and will meter more fuel, and that means higher RPM. This closes as the car warms up, as I said, and then this branch is dead. Still, you need to be able to support the engine when the air conditioning compressor comes on. You don't want the engine to die when that happens. So there is an additional control valve here that does, unlike this, does not gradually open and close. This one is either open or closed. And it's triggered by the compressor. When the compressor kicks in, this opens and immediately, once again, routes air around the throttle plate and throttle body, and again raises idle. And ideally, I have seen cars that do not change at all in RPMs when the compressor kicks in, but normally, most of the time, I see that they jump to maybe 1000 or 1100 RPM and then go back down when the compressor switches off. Okay, so this is the complete vacuum system as far as the top of the engine is concerned. And there is another system for the brakes, of course, and that is incorrectly routed here. The brake vacuum usually goes in front of the cruise control to these two clamps, where the one-way valve is sitting between those clamps, and then it is being routed up here. That is one thing I'm going to change. Then back here is the vacuum for the fuel pressure regulator, the vacuum for the air condition that we have talked about, and also a connection to the shift modulator in the automatic, but this is something for another video. And also there's an additional system for the EGR that this car does not have anymore. It has been removed, and actually all my videos have the EGR removed, except this, the only one where they let all the ports open. There is open ports everywhere. So this car basically had no vacuum, which is why I assume they had set the idle to 2000 RPM, so it runs at all. But as I said, we're gonna go through the rest of those and capping them off partly for repairing as we go on, getting this car back to normal. Once again, yellow is ignition and carbon canister control. Green is hydrocarbons from the tank that are being routed into the intake. This black is gases inside the engine. Blue is idle control when the car warms up, and red is idle control when the compressor kicks in or stops. I hope that this color coding helped. That was the best idea I could come up with, but I hope this makes a bit of sense. Thank you for watching.